I was so looking forward to this session because this leading event stylist, I met him 10 years ago. I'm not sure on the actual time, but he's always been one of my favorites, and he knows this. And aside from being one of the leading and most sought after, I have to personally say he is really fun to work with. There is never a dull moment when you're talking to the event stylist, Mr. Teddy Manuel.
Hello, Miss Rita.
Welcome.
And cheers, and thank you for having me on your show. Imagine, because of ECQ, you have your show na.
Finally, no, it's been in the works.
I know.
So you're drinking. I thought that scotch. No, I know you don't drink scotch.
Yeah, I love hard drinks.
Okay.
But Rita, this is just an apple juice muna for the meantime. Later, we can have a cocktails na.
Playing it safe, huh? Apple juice muna. Well, I'm still sticking to my Aperol. I think this is my third refill, so I'll probably be in a while. And I have to say this because when Teddy came on air, I nearly fell off my chair because he is now sporting a new Korean K-drama look. I can't help but be,
because of ECQ, I cannot have I cannot go to the salon to have my haircut or barbershop. So what I did, because I drooling on my Korean novela, then parang iti-one class, I just, cut off my bangs like this. Siguro because of a little boredom.
I have to get used to it. I'm sure it will grow on me. So, okay. Ted, who's with you during this lockdown?
Miss Rita, I'm alone in my house. My parents are they are staying in Las Piñas.
Okay.
So we decided na hindi na ako mag-join with them. And you know what? Wala akong quarantine pass. Because since nag-lockdown, hindi na ako lumabas talaga ng bahay, literally. So I'm following our government. I'm a good girl.
But Ted, so what? Since March, lockdown ka na rin, right?
Yes. You know what? What happened? Meron pa akong event like a day before the government announced that we're having our lockdown. Meron pa akong event that Saturday. So imagine we already ordered all the flowers na. So it will be coming in that night of the announcement of the quarantine, and all the props and all the the items are needed because we're ready to ingress at 10 p.m. And then the announcement was like I think around 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So of course our clients they decided na to pause and you halt the wedding because baka we never know sila pa yung maging cause to to spread out the virus and stuff like that. So of course it was just the announcement on the day. So sobrang confused. You don't know what will the government will implement. So you don't know also the hotel's rules and regulations. So I think it was a good decision. But you know what? On our part, it was right away, Miss Rita, it was a big cut of loss na agad. Because you already use the deposit for the flowers and stuff, and then but eventually there is nice naman. So maybe after the lockdown, we might renegotiate for the next, kasi they're gonna move the wedding maybe early next year.
Okay. So are you saying that totally no ceremony, no reception? That was totally taken out.
So what happened? That Sunday they had like a basic ceremony set up.
Okay.
So they just go to the municipal hall. Then right after that, they go back to the hotel. Maybe around 40 guests only for an intimate reception.
Okay, so they did their civil wedding and then
civil wedding, yes.
So, which makes me ask you: were you in any way prepared for this situation?
Miss Rita, I think none of us, are really prepared. Number one, physically because we're used to, working every day. Mentally, because it's not about you all. Now you have to think of. You have your employees, you have your operational costs to maintain. No, so that's why right after the lockdown, Miss Rita, talagang I make ang una kong inasikaso is my core group or my team.
Yes.
No? Because maybe the help from the government will come later on, but initially you're the leader of the company, so you have to assure your team first what will be the next step. So what will happen? I explained to them, I laid the cards. This is the scenario. So this is like we're gonna start working from home, but I cannot afford working from home like every day.
Yeah.
So okay, probably for the next yung first 2 weeks, parang every day my account manager, because there was like questions of postponing. They're asking about a refund. They're asking about what will happen to the deposit, or those things. No. So the first thing we did is to come up with a statement reassuring our clients that
When was
saddened. We're all saddened by the crisis. Mm-hmm.
It was around March pa rin, no?
Around March. So I think it's important, if there's a crisis, Ms. Rita, you have to act quick.
Yeah.
Because this is like, our enemy is not visually seen. I mean, it's not like maybe like, a war, or there's like about the stock market, those things before. Pero hindi ko naman siya naabutan. Pero I've heard. But this time, it's about, parang yung buong mundo, they stop. I never thought there will be like a such crisis in our lifetime. I think right now we're like 50 plus days already, Miss Rita, right? So that's the thought, no? So, but the first 2 weeks, or talagang I have to think, how can we strategize or plan the business?
Okay.
Right? So right after that, Miss Rita, so what I did right after that, when I found out that there will be a home quarantine, most of the bride and groom are staying at home and not doing anything but busy on their phones, or busy on the internet, or busy on Netflix, right? I don't have a TV for the last 10 years, Miss Rita. So you know what? So good thing I have an iPad, and then I asked my friend, can I borrow your Netflix password? And then I'm gonna exchange my masterclass password with you. Would you like to swap? I didn't even bother to pay for my own Netflix. And then so funny, and then oh my God, I discovered about Korean novela, and you know what? I'm a kind of person na naiinip ako. So when I started an episode, straight siya. So kung 24 hours siya, or 22 hours, or 16 hours siya, I am awake for 16 hours or 24 hours. So iniisip ko na lang nag-i-ingress ako.
Baka later on, you already know how to speak Korean, Teddy, ha?
Annyeong sayo. Samsambida. Are you also binging Netflix? I'm sure. What's your
I am.
binge?
I am into the K-drama because, people like Joyce Aguilar was telling me na, come on, you have to watch, even other friends. And now she started me on this. And even Nerissa's getting upset at me because I won't let go of my iPad. And then I'll private message you as to which actor I like.
Oh my God! So that happened to me. So I think I got three K-dramas. After that, I have to stop myself. This is too much.
It can be addicting, but I have to go back to mention the postponements and the cancellations. Were there any cancellations, or mostly postponements?
So most of the cancellation, Miss Rita, are birthdays, and some are Chinese engagement or tinghun. because of course
Okay.
birthdays, they really have to celebrate in a certain time, right? And then for
Uh,
Tinghun, it's also based on their feng shui dates. So it's they have to wait and reschedule. Or sometimes the Tinghun is too close to the wedding, because most of the Tinghun will happen
okay.
hopefully around May or June, but their wedding is somewhere in September or November. So they might skip the Tinghun and just proceed to the wedding. So just in case for the process, we right now regarding for cancellations or refund, we really try to talk about it with the clients, because I really explained to them that we are also affected, right?
Yeah.
Then partially the deposits they made with us are also spent on our operational costs.
Okay. Yes.
So I rather, I just don't want them to, go blow by blow on my contract that this is not refundable, because this is time. I think this is a time for empathizing with your clients.
Yes.
So I really talk to them. Is there a way that you can transfer the deposit into future events as much as possible, but I'll hold the deposit first, and then after ECQ, let's talk about it. Right?
And most of them have said yes, naman, right?
Yes. There are, of course, they're really understanding them, because they knew it wasn't our fault or their fault. So this is really a sudden crisis for all of us. So I just want our clients also to empathize same way as we empathize with them, and understand also our situations.
The deposit given will be honored to the change of date.
Of course, you just have to pause and reschedule the event. That's fine with me, even if it's 2011 or 2012. I don't mind. Maybe because when everything is okay, maybe we can just talk about the new contract. If there's really a price increase,
Yeah.
right? Because the flights right now, especially when we import our flowers, there is no flight from Netherlands or from Ecuador right now.
Okay.
So, but you know what, Miss Rita, there's they increased already around 25%. Already, because unlimited kilos in the air cargo.
Yeah.
So those are the problem.
Can you even get it out from the airports and the piers or wherever which way they're coming in?
Yes.
So you're able to bring out the flowers naman.
Yes, there's no problem to bring out the flowers with with the customs in the airport. I think it's considered as perishable. So, but we have a limited stocks, because the grower in Holland, what they did after 2 weeks that there's no demand for flowers, they have to cut or get it from the roots. They said they have a term na parang the roses, they have to pull it out from the roots, so that they can preserve. They can preserve the flower, and also the operational cost of watering them, putting them in a greenhouse, and then there's no demand for flowers. So it's really it's really break your heart. I'm really heartbroken, because there's no abundance of flowers right now.
Whoa, how very sad to think that you're going to be destroying such beauty, no?
Exactly, because there's no home for the flowers right now. They cannot be sent to anyone right now. So that's the part. But there are few growers, but we have a limited stocks. So that's why they and then the flight is not on a regular basis. So an increase of 25%, we already felt this.
So you're saying there's already limited stock. You're not even sure of the delivery and everything. So that's the reason why there's a price increase of at least, or for sure, 25%, correct?
Yes, that's true. So eventually, I'm looking at the brighter side. It will give our local growers an opportunity, right? So baka maybe the new normal for the next 6 months will be using mostly local flowers, which is good for the local industry, because importation will be difficult and pricey. And then of course our local growers, I'm sure they have more. This is like seasons for wedding, eh? So I'm sure once we go back, we can utilize our local flowers more.
Definitely, yeah. Because well, whether we like it or not, we really should propagate and emphasize on the local, and
Mhm.
that's gonna change the wedding trend and everything. Because imagine yung mga Ecuadorian and all this other stuff, it's gonna be hard. Even Thailand, I believe, is hit.
Yes, they're also like ours with the number of victims and also restricted and quarantine and all those things. So
With this kind of thing, I know you answered earlier that you were not prepared for it, but now that it's here, are you or your company going to do anything like pre-installing technical apps, more on strategic planning, change of focus for the company and everything? I mean, are they in the works already for you?
yes, Miss Rita, like I told you earlier, I make a quick decision. Let's focus on social media because the
Okay.
demand or because the demand is there right now. So after a week with all those flowers that I didn't use for the wedding, I came up with a YouTube channel. I fake it myself to be confident in the camera and doing demonstration of flowers because if I should do it. I should be the pioneering in our industry to do a tutorial on flower arrangement or for event styling. And then, because I also want to be an example, while we're in quarantine, we can make ourselves productive and we can use our time wisely. So that was my driving force. Some of them maybe think, Teddy, you're so insensitive. Like we're on a crisis right now. You're doing a beautiful things. You're doing demonstration. Like I told them, you know what? In a house, there's a mom, right? The mom is in charge of the kids, in charge of what to do in the house, in charge of home economics. So I think I took it as a role. No, okay. I took it like, okay, Martha Stewart Peg right away. Yeah, ganyan. So I took charge. I want to be an inspiration for not just for event stylists or florists, but also for the moms and for those creative, thinking of a new skills to develop because they're not doing, maybe they don't know, diba, when they get back to work, baka there will be new changes, so they need to acquire new skills. So that's why I came up with a YouTube channel, and then after that, oh my God, I asked my team, we need an income, and we need to have a source of income. So I came up with an online floral school.
Okay.
So I have an online floral school that I have 2 classes every week, starting May next week.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tackle about wedding flowers, about plant styling, and then all those things. So right now I pivot on more on online businesses as much as I can, so that, and then I try to make my social media presence. Yes, right now. So those are trial and error, Miss Rita. I don't know it's gonna pick up. But the thought that, you've been dreaming of doing a YouTube channel, then you've done it. Like what you're doing right now, you're in front of Zoom and, it's a new technology, right? We're now adapting, no? It's important that we adapt. I think that's what I like about you, Miss Rita, because you've been in the industry for the longest time because you know how to adapt and how to reinvent yourself. Right? So
I have people I'm very lucky enough to have people to help me, because otherwise, it's just so easy to just sit back and, be less proactive. But I've been blessed with people who won't make me do that. And let's face it, we are in an industry that's very creative. So you can't be the least person to be creative. That's why I take my hats off to you, because imagine, your quick response to this whole thing. That is so commendable, Teddy. And really, you really are a role model in the sense that what you're doing is not only good for people who are bored. I mean, like, I mean, as like you yourself said, you cannot binge watch Korean drama the whole time. Maybe I can watch and go to Teddy's floral school. You know, you're giving them options, not only you. So congratulations. I'm so
Thank
very, very
you.
proud.
Thank you. Cheers to that.
Definitely. And another thing I'm always asked, how will event stylists work on safety measures? Like, are you going to be going into this with naka-PPE, naka-face shields, what are you thinking about this?
I'm sure there should be parang the new normal na for event styling as well. It will always start in the office, right? So from the office, you have to really implement yung sanitation requirements, hand washing and social distancing stuff thing. And then for ingress, I think Ms. Rita, ito nga, what I'm worried about is the standard. What will be the standard? The hotel might have a different standard on what you're implementing in your office. So that's why I'm thinking, after the quarantine, maybe we can think and reconnect with different departments that we're working with, like with the different hotels, to comply with their requirements, and to the different venues to comply what are the safety measures that are required. Yeah.
Because I was talking to some of the hotel people, especially those who are they're part of a group of a chain of hotels. So they're coming up with their own local restrictions and measures, but they're also waiting for what their head office will give them. So maybe that's the cause of delay. So they'll bring it out only, one whole thing. But definitely what you're saying is true, because even if you do your own safety measures, they may impose more strict or we don't really know. But, what do you think about situations regarding, let's say, distancing for table setup, even, sanitizing the bridal bouquet? Do you have a take on this?
I guess, like I told you, if there's a need to adapt, there's no way to restrict yourself and or maging hard-headed. Yeah. Because we have to unite, and we have to start all over again. So this is like a new normal, and then if there's a way that we have to leave our past, if there's a need to leave our past behind us. We used to do this before. You're okay naman with this before. Why is it? No, I think we really have to adapt, because we really have to start. We wanted to start to work again, to have our events again. So no matter what will be the restrictions or the new regulations for safety, we really have to follow. I think that's the best way to to be able to start again.
Yeah. So do you think that people will be sitting 6 at a table or at the table instead of 10?
Yeah, I don't mind that, no. But of course, they really have to do the measurements of the ballroom. Like for example, this ballroom is good for 250. So divided by how many tables and chairs. So maybe in terms of designing, there will be more restrictions as well, because of course they will get a bigger ballroom, but the guests are just only 60 people, right? Yeah. Because it might happen. You have a 10 table, but this is just a 60 guests instead of 100 guests, right? So imagine if you have 200 guest table, so it will be like half of the revenue of the hotel. So in terms of that, if they're spending only for 60 guests but for entire ballroom, so the couple will really have to think, okay, do we really need to invest on like 100 kind of setup or just for a 60 setup? Yeah. So as event stylists, we have to be flexible and adjusting that. But I'm very optimistic. There are still clients that really wants to do their dream wedding, and that's why we're here for them for that one. But of course, we really have to adjust also for those intimate weddings, right? And then so when you do the math, you really have to comply to that. For example, the couple is just spending for 60 guests. So come up with a decoration that will work for that budget alone. So everyone and everything will adjust. So
You're open to this adjustment. Price-wise, more or less naman you're open to this adjustment.
yes, but for event styling, because normally we're always referred on the quantity and sizes, right? When we're talking about Teddy wood, we're doing a ceiling decoration with the trusses of 40 by 60 feet. The 40 by 60 feet, sometimes we can do that in Shangri-La with 300 or 500 guests because we're focused on the middle. But Teddy will only have 60 guests, but you have the entire ballroom. So when you do the math, it's the same thing. So we have to go back again on educating the client. Your 40 by 60 feet trusses, it goes to, we used to quote our clients for 500 guests, but now you only have 100 guests. But when you do the math, it's the same area that we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a lesser table, you have a lesser people on your table, but the area didn't change. You still have this 360 square meter that we have to decorate. So I think that's my analogy on that. Because event stylists are also have a specified sizes and measurements. Same with the lights and sounds. You still have the entire ballroom, so your requirements for the sound, for the lighting is still the same. But I have a 60 guests, so it's kind of like, but you really have to weigh it. And so the budget for styling might be the same because the area didn't change.
That's true. Well, probably the only cost factor there that might change is the cost of the flowers. If you're still gonna just really be using local instead of the imported.
That's right. So that will compensate the costs, and then also because of availability, so we have to do some adjustment for that.
But Teddy, you and I have done several destination weddings, and I've always looked forward to not only working with you in destination, but in any wedding. But are you still comfortable with traveling and doing destination weddings?
I'm so optimistic about destinations wedding because imagine if I have a budget of a ballroom wedding, but I only have 100 guests, but my budget is 100, is a good for a ballroom. Why not bring that wedding into a destination wedding instead?
Okay.
100 wedding in Boracay will just cost you a ballroom wedding in Manila for 500 guests.
Yeah.
So now the couple will think, oh my, yeah. So if I go to a destination wedding with my budget for a ballroom, so I can maximize my budget, right? So I think I'm very optimistic for a destinations wedding because there will be more and more intimate wedding will be coming up. Or maybe an elopement wedding anytime soon. So I would love, I'm so positive our local tourism will, once we have, we remove the travel ban, I'm hoping the local destinations will also prosper with weddings and explore other cities, for weddings. But for international, I'm thinking it will be difficult as of now because we have our different timeline of recovering or quarantine. Philippines, di ba, we started early, but some are just starting their quarantine. So it will be difficult to say for international. But once the travel ban is lifted in the Philippines, I'm sure for those wedding postponing, for those who postpone their wedding, they might think of, oh my God, let's transfer to Bohol, let's go to Cebu, or let's go to Ilocos for a wedding because our expenses is the same, but we will get our, dream wedding because most of the clients, most of them would like to have an intimate and a destination wedding.
But that's on the presumption that all safety measures and factors are in place. And the government has said, okay, you can do it now, right?
Yeah, because we have still parang stigma of traveling because of, you might get sick. So I hope so. But once we clear, there are like some cities that are not, nothing to worry about. So like Calibo, Aklan, Boracay, they are now in GCQ level. So hopefully, if that continues, once the flight is lifted, they might have a wedding soon as well.
Um, Before we take a break and move on, I just have a question. How has this situation, this pandemic, affected you personally? What's your take on this? Because you're very positive. You're such a positive person. You're Mr. High Energy, and let's face it. If you cannot always keep up this level of optimism, because it will eventually also get through.
Yeah, that's right. Like I told you before we start, right after the announcement of the lockdown, I had my vertigo. So it's just like, it's maybe you want to stay positive as much as possible, but sometimes physically it really drained you because you're thinking of so many things. What if, thinking of the future, what if for the next 5 months, and we're thinking after the lockdown is lifted on May 15 or so, we don't have a wedding until maybe August to September.
Yeah.
So I'm just also a human being, so I really have ups and downs as well.
Yeah.
But I also experienced some sleepless night.
Only some. Okay.
Yeah, so I also now drinking I think I finished like 2 bottles of red wine in a span of 50 days. So I guess I'm just like anyone else, really affected. And then as a leader or as an entrepreneur or as a businessman, it's not just you that you want to to survive, right? Yeah, helping your people, is one way of your advocacy as well. So it's like a big family that you're taking care of.
Yeah.
But with help of prayers and talking to friends, and then your friends are also sharing how they overcome, and then they tell me that you just have to relax and take it one day at a time, because the future is really uncertain right now. Are you sure? I'm still not convinced.
And well, for what it's worth, it's sama-sama naman. It's not just you who's undergoing it. It's everybody else, and that's I think your cause of concern really is, of course, different situations for different folks, but at least we're all in the same situation. Hindi ka nag-iisa in short.
Salamat. That's my parang thought nga, na parang this is hindi lang tayo here in the Philippines, but this is global. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get upset. It's okay to not to sleep. But of course, because of what I'm doing, I try to keep myself busy. So it really helps, that I connect with people and then try to be inspirations for them. And then I think there's a balance. So you have your ups, you have your downs. So just continue. Sabi ko nga, every day waking up in the morning is already a blessing. So I'm so happy that talking to you and then reconnecting with other friends during quarantine time. So I'm so happy always. I just always want to be in happy disposition.
I really like what you said, because just being able to open your eyes, you have a roof over your head, you have people who love you and you love them back. That alone is such a blessing already, because the situation is much worse for other people. So so we count our blessings. And with that being said, it saddens me that we should talk longer, but we at this point we have to wrap things up. And I would just really like to ask Teddy, who's for me Mr. High Energy, to give a message to people, his couples, to the people who follow him, to others who are interested in his craft and everything. Please give us a message, Teddy.
So, like you told us earlier, Miss Rita, this is like a global, crisis, and we're not alone. So this is the best time to reconnect, and also for the wedding suppliers, I think this is the best time to collaborate. help each other, uplift each other. And also, I would like to also thank our frontliners, Ms. Rita, for being upfront and taking care of the sick, the military, and and even the one in the supermarket who's they risking their lives every day for us to stay safe. So I hope and pray that they will be stay healthy, and also I'm also asking to be generous right now. So to help, this is the best time if you have some spare, not even money but time and volunteering, or not even physically there, but at least spreading a good vibes and a good, to be a good inspiration to other. I think it will be a big help.
Thank you so much, Teddy.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your giving us your time, and for it's continuing to be an inspiration for everybody out there. With that, I would like to raise my glass to Teddy to be well. Thank you, cheers, and I look forward to being with you again, hopefully within this year and next year, to more projects with Teddy Manuel.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Cheers.